Good evening, everybody. Happy Easter for those of you who are joining me. If you're watching this at another time, it's Easter today, so happy Easter in arrears. Welcome to those who have joined me today. I don't think it's going to be a long one today. I haven't got anybody joining me at the moment. I don't think I will. First of all, happy birthday to Freya Sykes Bledsoe, whose birthday it was, I believe, last Monday. Happy birthday, and I hope you had a wonderful day. And now I'm going to move on to, as soon as I can get it up, is promotion for a new author in Bridgend who's just released, I believe, their first book on Amazon, and I've got share screen here, so make sure I get the right screen to share first. There we go. And as you can see, it's called Inspector Grail and the Immortal Dream. It's by Matthew Humphreys, Bridgend-based author, his first book, and congratulations to him. I know how hard it is to write a book. I've been stuck on several that I've been trying to write for a long time now. But well done for him, and please go out there and try and help support a young author up and coming. So there we go. That's Matthew's book's available on Amazon. Please go buy it. I will be purchasing it next month when I get some money. I do like a good detective story, crime story, things like that. I do like to read. I read a lot of things: history, westerns, crime, many different things. I'm gonna move off the housekeeping part now, and I'm going to have to do a bit of an apology. I'm not myself at the moment. I'm a bit stressed, anxious, feeling a bit down. Um, I had my last medication, my last tablet for my antidepressants was Thursday night, so I'm in a bit of a bad way. My prescription wasn't done in time for the Easter bank holiday, even though I put the repeat in last Monday. It should have been ready by Thursday, it wasn't, so I am now on my third day without my antidepressant, and I'm not feeling great, to be honest. So, and couple that with the stress of now I'm in the final month before I'm going to have to vacate the property I'm in now, and at present I got nowhere to go. There's no prospects within Bridgend County at the moment that I can afford. That's within my budget. It's a difficult thing. Bridgend County Borough Council, while I'm on the emergency housing list, I panic I'm worrying every day that nothing's going to happen, because they don't guarantee to find a place. They just guarantee to help you prevent you becoming homeless. At the moment, their last suggestion to me was that I drag it out and make my landlord go to court to get me evicted, which I don't like the sound of for many different reasons. One being, what's that going to say to future landlords if I want to rent privately again? It's not going to look good that a landlord's had to go to court to get me evicted. They say it will delay the eviction by a couple of months, but that's something I don't want to do, and there's various reasons why I don't want to, and I won't go on in here. So I've not been doing great today with being out of my medication, the eviction and other things. I'm just really stressed today and really finding it hard at the moment. But I'm gonna plough on. As most of you know, last year I had a breakdown and I cancelled everything with the political owl, and I came back. Now I got myself help. I got on medication. It took a while to adjust and find the right medication. And at the moment, I'm out of that medication because the prescription hasn't been filled. It didn't get filled by Thursday, so I've been out for 3 days now. Um, what triggered last year mainly was the threat of eviction. In July last year, I was given 2 months' notice to vacate property. The landlord wanted the house back. At the time, I believe we wanted to sell it again. So I filled in the forms for housing for Britain County and emergency housing. The emergency housing, they left it till 4 days before I was due to be evicted to tell me that the eviction notice was illegal because under pandemic laws at that time, I had to have 6 months' notice. By that time, I was a mess. I was stressed out. I was really not doing well, and it was a bad time for me. Um, so went through that. I told the landlord it's supposed to give me 6 months, so he had 4 months onto the original 2 months' notice. 2 weeks later, Shelter come and ring and say, no, he's supposed to give you a whole new 6 month notice. I didn't really want to go back to my landlord and say that, so Shelter rang him for me, and he accidentally gave me 7 months. So theoretically, I should have been out 2 days ago, but I've got just under a month now, and I'm starting to feel stressed again, really, really stressed. I'm trying to focus by doing the live stream today. I haven't asked anybody to come on. If people want to come on, you can come on. I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. Um, but as I say, it's not a good day today. I've had my moments where I just want to go crawl back into bed. I haven't done that yet, which I think is a win for me. A huge win for me today. Yesterday, I've distracted myself putting flat pack furniture up for my ex-wife, which was good. Wore me out, but good. Um, it's just been a struggle these last, well, today more than anything. Last night, it really hit me that I just didn't have my medication, that in less than a month I'm going to be living, I don't know, to be honest. Um, so, yeah, I'm struggling a bit. So please forgive me today if I do get a bit emotional, do get a bit tearful. I will try to keep it together. Let's go on to politics wise this week. Now, I want to go on to, it was Quaker High is the last and final community council meeting of this 5 year period. It was quite sad because out of the 11 councillors we did have, there's there's only possibility of 4 of us from this current council, well, from this last 5 years, being on this next council. At the moment, there's a guarantee of 2, with a possibility of 2 more. I hope they come back because with a new council, for some reason, I have this crazy idea that if there's only me and Alan Wathen, he'll be chair, and I unfortunately be vice chair because I've been serving on there second longest, and I don't want that. To be honest, I'm not some chair. I don't like, crazily enough, public speaking. Even though I do this, I don't like public speaking. So it was kind of emotional. We went out for a meal afterwards, and it was great. And it's sad to say goodbye to some of these colleagues who I've worked with for 5 years. Now, that council, we had 6 independents, 4 Labour, and 1 Lib Dem. The one thing that was acutely aware during those 5 years, politics never came into the council singing at any stage. The only thing that came from council's idea was moving the council forward and progressing the council and doing the best for the people of Pendray, Litchard and Coity, which I believe we've done fantastic work over the years, over the last 5 years, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to stay on this time, is there's still more work to be done. There's still potential pitfalls, I'll say, with certain asset transfers, and I don't want people to be. I want to have my voice say on it because a lot of these asset transfers have been going on for a year, 2 years, even 4, 5 years now. That they're not always easy and quick to get done. It's not like a play part that can be done within a few months or half a year, which we've done quite a few of over these times, and not just from Bridgend County Borough Council, but we've done one from Llanmore with the park on Jocelyn Terrace. We took that over. So, as I said, it was sad to see a lot of people go. It was quite a bookend to the community council, on my part anyway. Somebody I was on the council with, Anita Davis. The first day I met Anita was at the community council count back in 2017. Martin introduced me, and Martin was leading Anita down. I don't know if you know Anita. She's a very passionate woman about her area, and she works very hard, especially with people with disabilities, and she's got visual impairments. And Martin was leading Anita around the count at the Bowls Hall on the community council on Friday afternoon, and Martin abandoned her. She didn't know, so I had to lead her around for a while, and I didn't mind that. Now, on Thursday, when we went for our meal at the Tourisha, fantastic meal, loved it. It was brilliant, and it's nice to be out. It's a long time since I've actually been out. We were walking in. I was walking in with Anita and Sherry, another person on the council. Sherry was leading Anita in, and Sherry abandoned her at the door, and again, I had to lead Anita in, so it bookended that quite nicely for me, which was good. But it's a shame to see all them go, and I wish them the best, and I thank them for all the work they did over that time. And I'm just, I'm sad that they're not going to be there to help continue, and it would have been nice for that to continue. Anyway, something that was said in the meeting on Thursday was when a county councillor, when the elections happen, any referral a county councillor has put in, whether they're elected again or not, gets wiped off the system, which I think is wrong. A county councillor who's unelected or not standing cannot pass their referrals on to the incoming one. I understand that part through data protection, which I was informed by Carolyn Johnson is the reason why this happens, that everything gets wiped for data protection. But a referral on the system, to me, it shouldn't be wiped. It's wrong. They're there for a reason. They're not there because nobody really cares about them. They're there because somebody has cared to either contact the council or the council has seen something and put the referral in themselves. So, and it's something that needs to be actioned or done. Whether something can be done is a different matter. But everything gets wiped is like a complete reset, which I think is wrong. On the part of passing from council to council, yes, data protection may be an issue and come in, but when it's on the system, therefore officers to do something, then there's something wrong, which got me thinking of something else. Now, back in March, the vote for the budget for next year was brought in, was done. Now, this budget was done by Bridgend County Borough Council and the Labour-led cabinet and council, and it was voted through majority by them. Yes, there were some independents that voted. There were some independents that actually voted against, despite threats from an officer saying they'd bring the council into disrepute, and they would have to write to her to fight to say why they did it, which is not democracy, and that's another matter completely. But there's a leaflet going around saying by the Conservatives at the moment, which I'm glad they're sticking to local issues, which is completely different to Labour and Plaid. At the moment, they're going national, but they put on there that the only reason BCBC has been able to raise council tax is because of independence. It's because of one independent. Majority of the independents, the votes against for the last 5 years of the budgets have been by independents, the likes of Tim Thomas, Ross Penhale Thomas, Alex Williams, Amanda Williams. These independents have voted against your tax rises. They voted against tax freeze this year. There were certain questions they wanted answers to. They weren't getting them, and so they can't vote for it. They weren't getting them from the council leader, the officers, or anybody. So you can't vote for something where you've got questions and you're not getting answers to. So I applaud those people who did vote against, but make no mistakes, Conservatives will say they'll vote against tax rises. Well, they don't. They abstain. Well, they won't vote for tax rises, which is correct. They haven't, but they've abstained, so they haven't voted against them either. So they're just going, meh, I don't really care. So it's unfair. I know there are Conservative councillors out there who do care, who do work hard, and that. But you've got to, if you're going to say I won't vote for a tax rise, you can't abstain from it. You've got to vote against it to give that clarity, which is the leaflet that's going around by the Conservatives at the moment in Brackla, in Porthcawl. I haven't seen any others, so just Brackla and Porthcawl ones at the moment. So it's not independents that are keeping these tax rises. You could argue Conservatives are letting these tax rises continue by not voting against. Anyway, so go back to that budget. So, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place as I mentioned. For those of you who just joined, I talked about earlier, I haven't got my medication at the moment, so I'm up and down with how I'm feeling. I may just suddenly burst into tears, which I've done randomly a couple of times today already. I've been without my medication for 3 days. The repeat prescription wasn't filled in time, even though I put it in on Monday. It should have been done by Wednesday, and it wasn't even done by 5 to 6 on Thursday. They hadn't even had it over at the pharmacist at that point. So I'm now 3 days without my medication, so I'm up and down. Anyway, back to the budget. So what got me thinking about the referral being wiped off, in March every year, a budget is voted on by the county council. Even an election year, but yet the party that's pushed for this budget may not be in power 2 months later on an election year, which is crazy to me. Why are we doing a budget? Yeah, I understand you've got to do a budget before April because of election. And community councils, I'm not sure about the Welsh Assembly government, but community councils elections are fixed every year. It's not like a general election that could be called at any time. So why then is county councils elections not done, say, September, October, or November, before a budget has to be done and released? Then the party who's gained power, whether they've kept it, or party or group or independents have taken power of the council, and they want to put their agenda forward. Why then is the elections held 2 months after a budget is formed? Now, okay, I understand they don't have to follow that budget, but there are certain things in those budget departments are expecting because it's been announced in the budget. Well, you're due such and such money. This is what you're going to get. This is what's in the budget. But other councils may not have the same priorities as what the former leading group or leading party or whatever had in mind. It's like I know people, independents and others, not just independents. There are other people who don't like the Cardiff Capital Region deal. I want to look at the paperwork for that to see if there is any way they can stop payments. In the budget, there's payments probably scheduled for it, um, put in for it. This year we had a £19.2 million increase on what we got from the Welsh Assembly Government, what we get every year, which is, I'm guessing, 19.2 million more than they were expecting, because for the last 3 years we've had a 0.05 or 0.05% decrease in what we got. So 19.2 million is fantastic, and yet all they did with that was freeze council tax on a, whereas 1% costs the council 875,000. So even a 10% cut was, they could have taken that from the 19.2 million, which would only be 8.75 million, and they'd still have 11 million left to do other things. Yes, I know there's money gone to school projects and things like that and other things, but at the end of the day, Labour, you were griping about a national a national credit crisis, a credit crunch, and what have you, and yet you only freeze council tax and you lord it over as if it's a great gift that people have done, that you have done for people, where you could have dropped it by 10%, taken 8.75 million from the 19.2 million bonus essentially that you got, and could have done better with that money and give some people take some pressure off, a little bit of pressure. I know 10% doesn't seem much overall, but every little helps to everybody at the moment, especially people who are on lower incomes that are still paying their council tax bill, or larger families that are paying their council tax. I know we've got a £150 rebate coming from Welsh Government. It all seems to be different councils are doing it different ways, because I know BCBC said they'll get it by the end of April, and those who don't pay it by direct debit or didn't get the winter payment allowance will be written to in May. In Port Talbot, where I am, the council announced that they'll be writing to everybody at the end of April for payments in May. Now, it's all councils should be doing this at the same time. All 22 councils across Wales. And I know Labour say, oh, we're giving £150 to everybody. Yeah, it wasn't your idea. It was announced in February by the Westminster. They were going to give it £150 to everybody in England on A to D, depending whether they... there's certain people that won't get it who live about A to D, and I don't know what it is. And part of match funding, they gave that to Wales, to Northern Ireland, to Scotland to do the same. Okay, Wales have gone a bit beyond and said everybody in a house A to D will get it. Every household A to D will get this £150 thing. So yes, you have gone slightly beyond, but it wasn't your idea to give the £150 in the first place. So please stop claiming it. And it's like they've claimed the free school meals expansion the other week. They claimed that as part, but it was applied as part of a deal that asked that part of the deal for applied to support Labour and Welsh Government was this expansion. So again, not your idea, even though you're saying, oh, we've introduced this. It's Plaid. And this is what Plaid Cymru are campaigning on at the moment. Another national issue. Labour are campaigning on cost of living, which is a national issue. Plaid are campaigning on various things that happen nationally that councils don't have any control or any effect of at all. Okay, if they want to campaign on that, do that for a government election or a Westminster election. Fine, fair enough, do that. But this is a local election that requires local issues and locally. The only cost of living help that the council can give is reducing council tax. They froze it this year, which is okay, but it's not a benefit to people. They just pay the same this year as they did last year when they had a cost of living crisis, and they raised it by what, 3.9%, I believe it was, the council tax last year. So it's it's strange. I don't mind you saying we're in a cost of living crisis. We can only do so much as locally, but focus on local issues. Focus on something I'm going to talk about in a minute that's come up again, the A48, speed limit on the A48. I'll speak about that in a minute. Focus on playgrounds. Focus on youth services within Bridgend. Focus on schools in Bridgend. It's okay, great, saying we're going to have the best schools. We're going to have the best tools in the school. How about we have the best teachers? We pay the best money for these teachers in these schools so that we can have the top class education that our young people deserve. We've got fantastic teachers in this county, and yes, they need to be rewarded more and helped more. And it's great having fancy new schools and all this technology, but at the end of the day, if you haven't got the teacher that isn't the best, that isn't really interested, just there to get a paycheck, they're not going to help the children. You need fantastic teachers, which there are many of in this county, but we need more. We need to help them more, give them the resources they need, these teachers, pay them well, and bring in the best teachers we can in this county. Anyway, so that was my thought on with the referrals being wiped at the end of uh, the election time. They get completely wiped. Do they then wipe the budget and the new council bring in a new budget? Why not? Why should they have to live off what the old budget was? That change it, the medium term strategy. Why is that delivered 2 months before an election? Why is a medium term strategy delivered 2 months before an election when the next group, whether it be party, whether it be whether it be party, whether it be independence or amalgamation of the two, when they could have different ideals, different goals, and different visions for this county. Anyway, I'm going to get on to the A48 and the campaign that's popped up. I'll show you. I posted this on the Bridgend Political Owl earlier. I shared this on there. It's Councillor Ian Spiller and Joanne Rubery were out this weekend talking about that. And Ian says there's going to be a video to follow, which I'm greatly looking forward to, and can't wait to see it. And I'll post it on the channel. So when it comes up, I'll post it on the channel so people can see. It's a shame that the A48 is still very dangerous, especially at the Merthyr exit where people drive up. They've moved the signs slightly so it makes it look like you can now turn right on the A48 when you shouldn't be. And I've seen police cars turn right out there, no blue flashing lights, just turn right out there when they shouldn't be. The speed does need to be lowered to 40. I drove 40 going down there regardless. And there needs to be safe crossing points for people to use. Now, unfortunately, this was brought about by the death of Joanne Rubery several years ago. Now, we shouldn't wait for a tragedy to happen. And if a tragedy does happen, we need to act immediately to make the place safe. It happens all too often that we need not just one tragedy, but several tragedies before anything happens. Anything is happened to make somewhere safe, and it shouldn't happen like that. It really shouldn't. Excuse me a minute, my throat's going. Right. Mm. Oh well, it's not so easy doing this by yourself. It's easier when you've got other people talking for you. Um, yeah, so that's come up this week, and that's come up again, and I think it really needs to be highlighted, and people need to follow this and start demanding that the council, whoever is in charge from May 6th, whoever's in charge from May 6th, does better for helping keep people safe in this county. It's not just the A48. You've got Hill Spencer, you've got plenty of other roads where it's so dangerous that they haven't even got proper footpaths or footpaths at all for people to walk safely. I understand that not everywhere can have a footpath, but when you've got an active travel route and a school route that people sometimes are expected to walk, and there's no footpath, how can that be safe, especially for children? So yeah, check out Ian's page. There's a council page. You've got the A48 on there, and hopefully the video will be up soon. I know Ian's taken a well-deserved few days for himself and his family, which is great. And I hope you enjoy yourself, Ian, and I hope you relax and come back ready for the final push on the campaign. What am I going to go to next? As I said, this probably won't be a long 2 hours tonight. It'll probably be a short one tonight because, as I said, I'm not too great in myself. If you've got anything, questions, the people out there, the three of you who are watching, if you've got a question for me, yes, ask it. I'll see if I can answer. Right. Put that one on. Okay. As I said, I'll go back to. Actually, I'll go back to Out Now, Inspector Grail and the Immortal Dream by Matthew Humphreys on Amazon. Please go check it out. I'm looking forward to getting my copy next month. I can't wait to read it, and I hope he'll sign it for me. It would be nice, a first edition, a signed first edition by hopefully an author who goes on to write many more stories. It's always good. I've tried to write myself, as I said, as part of my mental health process. I first started the three stories I got over 6 years ago now. No, 8 years ago now. And I've got to a certain point with each of them, and I can't go any further. One's Western, one's crime drama, and the other one's an inspirational drama. I have tried going further where I am several times on each book, but it just doesn't sound right, feel right, what I'm writing. So it's strange. Anyway, as I said, go check out Matthew's book. It's on Amazon now. Paperback is £4.60. Kindle edition is £2.30. I believe that is. I can't read it without the glasses. Yeah, £2.30. And you flick into it then. It's there. Just go order your copy. He's a Bridge End lad, local author. Let's hope, and I wish him all the success. And maybe one day we'll have the next John le Carre or Agatha Christie or somebody like that who comes from Bridgend that we can celebrate as a great author. Right, let's see what I'm doing now. Right, it's Straight. It's a shame to see that community councils. No, I'm a big advocate of community councils, but there's been a lot of seats across the county that have not been filled. There's one certain community council that is inquarate because they only had two people stand and filled two seats on a lot of council. Now, you need so many people to be quorate of a council meeting. I know Sarah's going to struggle because to be quorate they need four, and they've got four elected. So if one just misses the meetings in quorate. I hope they can bring some more on. And I think in Coychurch Higher, where they've only got two on there, that the council is going to have to step in and put people on that council. I don't know what the process is. I don't know whether it's a co-option, whether they call another election, whatever, but we'll see what happens. But it's a shame because community councils can do so good, so much good, and it's a shame that the good that these community councils can do is overshadowed by the media, the press, when it comes to bad things. Look at Hanford Council last year with Jackie Weaver and how she actually didn't have any authority, it turns out. She did not have the authority, as it turned out, the report came out. But that's a negative press. We've had negative press with a few of our councils in Bridgend. Puffcall, Mystegan and Asaldra. I'm not blaming any councillor in particular because I don't particularly know what's going on. And Asaldra, I've got an idea because I was on the council at one point. I didn't know what's happened. It wasn't any councillor who's there now or elected next, who's been elected for the next council term. It's nothing to do with them. This all happened prior. My stake has had its problems, but it seems the ship is being steadied and being moved in the right direction thanks to Adam Rees Davis, I believe, the current mayor of my stag. It's done a good job. Let's hope it can continue moving forward and they can get the problems behind them. And Puffcall, I haven't read all the report on it yet, and there's a lot that went on there, but I can't blame anybody because I don't know the circumstances. I can't point out whose fault it was or whose fault it wasn't. Now, it's a shame because community councils like Coity Higher, the Bridgend Town Council, and other town councils, Coychurch Lower, have done good work as well. They do such fantastic work, and it's only known a little locally if you're interested. But if a community council does bad, it's national news, or at least South Wales national news here. And it's crazy that we feed off this narrative of bad. The worse it is, the more interested we are, rather than the better it is, the more interested we are. Coity High has won several awards over the last 5 years for the work it's done. And I'm proud that I'm on that council, and I was proud to serve with every other councillor on there because, as I said, politics was never an issue on that council at all, not in one meeting. It was never an issue. The issue was how can we get things done? How can we do this? How can we do that? And we did it as a council, as 11 people moving forward, not 6 independents or 4 Labour or 1 Liberal Democrat. It wasn't individuals. It wasn't individual groups that did it. It was a whole council. I'm going to miss everybody who was on there, and it's a shame. The new people that are going to be joining us next year, we've got big boots to fill, and we won't certainly I won't, and I don't believe Alan Wathen, the current chair of Cozy Hire, who is elected alongside me, he won't let it stagnate. We want to keep progressing. There's so much more we can do for this community, for the community of Cozy Hire. There is so much, and I urge people out there, whether you're a Labour voter, a Conservative voter, an independent voter, or anything, go out there and vote. The problem is not enough people are voting, especially at community council level. They are some of the lowest figures, and they do arguably some of the most important work at a local grassroots level of your community. They do some of the most important work, whether it's litter bins, repairing paths, repair, um, repairing play parks, cutting grass, clearing rubbish, Christmas lights, funding summer play schemes, funding summer fitness schemes as well, which is something we discussed on Thursday. A fitness trail or something. I can't remember. My head's all over the place, as I said. But the community councils do so much work at the grassroots, local level in your area. Focus county-wide, they've got to look at things the whole area. Community council just got to look at the area they represent, which is, in the case of Coity High, Litchard, Pendraig and Coity. It's issues that affect that. We want to work with other councils that neighbour us, like Bridgend Town Council, which we've worked with a defibrillator. We want to work with St Bride's and other ones that border us, so we can share costs and do good work within the communities as a whole, because we share borders. And it's great, it's fantastic when that happens. It's brilliant. So please go out there and vote for community council. Even if you don't want to stand up and do it yourself, vote for a community councillor. Vote for somebody who's standing. If you want to get involved, there are plenty of seats for co-option now. You just have to live within 2.5 miles of that area. And I don't criticise anybody who stands, even if it's out of area. I can't criticise. I live in Cummer at the moment, and I'm representing Litchard. If anybody's out of area, I'm out of area. But even if I wasn't, I wouldn't complain, because people are stepping up to do good things, whether they're from that area or not, whether they've got a link to that area or not. They recognise the community and they want to help. So nobody should be discouraged. It shouldn't be a political platform in any way, shape or form, because, well, it's not paid. It's a remuneration. You get money if you want the money. Majority of community councils say no. And it's a maximum of roughly £150 per year, which is not going to make anybody rich or powerful. So it's not about money. It's not about controlling things. It's about doing good for your community. And politics should be forgotten about and thrown out the window on that level. Completely on that level. Because that's the only way you're going to do good for your community, is when you forget your political differences and think about what the community needs and what will better the communities. The other thing I was saying, this is a national thing now. Now, Boris Johnson's had calls to quit this week. Him and the Chancellor of the Exchequer after being fined for parties during lockdown, which I find highly ironic. He'd been called to quit, especially from the Labour parties, when Mark Drakeford had his Dancing in the Diwali celebration, which I suppose you could class was a party. There's a Diwali celebration, and he had no mask on indoors, and they said, oh, well, it was where food was served. I'm sure parties where food is served as well. So I do get, yeah, it's wrong to have parties, but what's wrong when you're running the country, you work together and you work hard? And I'm not saying they do nothing in Westminster, the civil servants or the politicians. And sometimes, even in a pandemic, yes, it may be illegal to have a party, it may be against the rules, but sometimes you need to unwind. And I'm sure there are many people out there regardless, still had parties and that. And okay, they may not be caught. I don't criticise that. I criticise a frivolous celebration or just we just celebrate just and having a party because we want. These are Christmas parties. At a time of year, at a hard time. So I personally have no issue with what went on. Okay, it broke rules. It broke rules. They got fined. Okay, fair enough. Leave it alone. He doesn't need to resign. Nobody needs to resign. It'd be the same if Labour did it. I'm sure they had backroom parties somewhere because they all do. And say they all don't. Say they don't. It'll be a bit hypocritical because they all do it at some point. We saw it, and I don't think people should lose their jobs over it. Get the fine, take the fine. That's it. There are more important things in the world than something that happened nearly 18 months ago. Um, there are more important things at this time. And it doesn't show we can't run the country. I'm not a fan of Boris. He's a bit of a buffoon to me, but I can't really say there's anybody better at this point in time that would run the country in the Conservatives or Labour Party or any other party at this point. I don't really see anybody. The ones that are vocal, the ones that are more outspoken, you find that they're the ones that really should be nowhere near running the country. There's quiet ones who you think got a calmness about them, and you think, yeah, maybe they could, but we can't see that, see how they react, unfortunately. Um, I know we're not in pandemic anymore. We're out of COVID rules. We're out of lockdown. We're out and all these rules, but still check in on people. People are still suffering. We're in another kind of pandemic with the keep forgetting what cost of living crisis. That's it. We're in another sort of pandemic, cost of living crisis, and people do suffer, and people suffer sometimes alone. They don't like to bother people. They don't like to ask people for help or anything like that. So just checking on them, see how they're doing. Um, yeah, just make sure people are all right. As I said, it wasn't going to be a long one tonight. I haven't got anybody on. I haven't got any specific topics in mind. I am promoting Matthew Humphrey's book on Amazon. That's for sale on Amazon. Please go check it out. Please help a young up and coming author, somebody who's gone and written a story. And I credit anybody who's got a story to tell. It's not always about the money with authors. The majority of authors don't write for the money. The majority of the authors write because they have a story to share, a story to tell. And I'm looking forward to getting this next month. So I'll say goodbye today. This is a short one, as I said. Because it's Easter Sunday. I wish everybody have a happy Easter. If you're spending it with family, I'm glad. Please enjoy your family and check upon people that you know who may be struggling in this time to see how they are, because mental health issues aren't always visible to everybody. A lot of people try and hide them, try and keep them to themselves because they're ashamed, because they're afraid, they don't want to be ridiculed, and I don't think anybody with any mental health issue needs to be ridiculed. Um, so yeah, go see Matthew's book. Check it out on Amazon. As I said, there it is. There it is. Just go help. Freya Sykes Bledsoe's birthday charity fundraiser for breast cancer awareness is still up. It's now at £70 from £100. if you can donate to that, please go donate. There's my GoFundMe as well, which currently still stands at £80, um, which I won't be touching until I've reached £1,000 mark. That is, I think, because if I put a password on it, I haven't got that password on me. I can't remember that password. I put it somewhere. I don't want to take it out because I know if I take it out, I'll use it on something else, and I don't want to do that. I want to get what I need to get and then donate the rest to mental health charities in Bridgend and help with that. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying your Easter, and I hope you're enjoying your family, and I hope you've had a nice day today, wherever you are, whether you're on holiday in West Wales or the Spanish Islands, or even just at home. I hope you've had a lovely day, and I'll see you again. Have a nice Easter. Goodbye.